I should find a new hobby, maybe a Harley, or just maybe a bike.
So I'm sitting at a Mexican restaurant right now in Hiawassee, my first real town, I guess. So my footwear was really cool and really great until it wasn't. So check this out. That's not normal for footwear, I would say, because I have all sorts of hot spots and probs. Don't think it's really normal. Then that's the other question is like, okay, now I have to listen to all of the potential gear conversations in footwear for hours on end. However, it's most likely going to be beneficial because I don't want to have to keep dealing with that. So I was coming down the mountain today. I wasn't even able to pick up my feet. My mind told me, like, pick up your foot, pick up your foot, pick up your foot. But my body was like, no. And I stumble over so many different rocks and stuff. So it's like the mental fatigue. And then sitting there, I tended to shame myself. And I said I wasn't going to do that, right? So I'm sitting there like, I'm getting so angry at myself because I think that I would be okay. Like, this would be okay. This is going to be something that I would know how to do. Is a lesson I've already learned. No, it's not okay. I sat there and I got mad, and I was with my tramily at the time. And they were like, just stop getting mad at yourself. And I'm like, I'm the therapist here, you know? Like, just kidding. I didn't say that. I said, you're right, you know? Like, I'm just getting mad at myself. But I legitimately kept telling myself to pick up my foot, and my foot was not moving. So, plan is to go to this outdoor store so that they can properly foot me up, because I'm not really keen on moleskin and Leukotape for the rest of this through hike, which is 2,000 more miles. So there you go. And like that defeat, it just like feels like such a defeat, you know, because it's like 2,000 more miles. Like that's a lot. So I don't even want to look at it that way. I want to look at it one day at a time, because one day at a time works just fine. But thinking of it overwhelms yourself. And like taking a look at my feet, they are not pretty. My feet have to get there though, so it's worth a hitch to Outdoor 76 to let them tell me what they need to tell me. Because I listen and I process, and then that helps make that decision, because obviously my feet aren't cool right now. So there you have it. And I'm sunburned as shit, so they can help me with that too. So Outdoor 76 really helped me out a lot. Let's take a look at Jeff's advice. It's pretty interesting thinking that you can just climb mountains and think that you're not going to struggle, because I think a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it's totally fine. I'm going to do like 20-mile days off from the start, and then you realize you get injured. And the outside world doesn't really understand what you're actually doing, like the ups and the downs. And so the outside world's feedback is, oh, come on, you can just push, just keep pushing. When in reality, that's definitely not recommended. So let's see what Jeff says at Outdoor 76, because he is the expert.
Our biggest issue with hikers when northbound season comes through, March, April, is helping. It's not an issue. The thing we see that's most common is helping people figure out their footwear. And the secondary part of that is helping them manage their bodies. Their feet usually hurt, not always because they're in the wrong shoes. It's a lot of times because they just walk 20 miles to get to town because they want new shoes, and they did 10 miles the day before. So that 100% increase from yesterday to today's left their feet hurting even worse, left them in worse shape, and they think a new pair of shoes solves all that. And it's it's a little more complicated than just buying a better fitting pair of shoes. Obviously that's going to help, but the best fitting pair of shoes on a person who is hiking 15-20 miles a day out of the gate from Springer isn't going to do them anything. They're going to ultimately probably suffer some kind of high frequency overuse injury. Their Achilles are going to start to be inflamed. Their knees are going to hurt. And footwear doesn't address connective tissue injuries. It doesn't really take care of things like Achilles tendonitis. You managing your miles day to day, you as the hiker, allowing your body to acclimate to the trail, really kind of get your trail legs underneath you, is way more beneficial than having a good pair of shoes or having the best pair of shoes that fit you perfect. That's important, but it's paramount more so to manage your miles day to day and everything else that's going on. The trail's a hard place for people that are just figuring out what it's like to backpack up and down mountains 6-7 days a week and sleep on the ground. All the stuff that goes into it. You don't sleep as well as you usually are accustomed to. You're eating different. You're exercising a ton more in general, unless you're, a distance hiker by trade. Most people are finishing up college. They're quitting a job. They're going through some life change. They maybe been sitting behind a desk for 10, 15 years, whatever the scenario may be, and walking up and down a mountain is new to them on a day-to-day schedule. So yeah, footwear's important. It's probably the most important piece of gear you purchase, and finding the right footwear is essential to a successful thru hike, I would think, for almost everybody. But what's probably the most important thing is managing your body, knowing how much you can handle early on and taking it slow, letting your legs get underneath you, your trail legs, incrementally upping your mileage as opposed to, oh yeah, I'm doing 5 to 10. No, if you're doing 5, your next step should be 6 miles. After that, it should be 7, 8. So, making sure you get those slower early miles underneath you and progress at a conservative increment, upping your mileage very deliberately, as opposed to, we're going to do 15 today, 20 the next, maybe you'll take it easy and do 9. Yo-yoing like that is a recipe for disaster. It's not that some people can't do it, it's that the majority of people can't do it, and it sends a lot of people home early on in the trail. That's probably where we see our highest rate of attrition, is in the first few hundred miles. And we're at mile 110, so we deal with a fair amount of it.